And then you'll know and understand why it is that I'm telling you to stay away from them, okay? Because they can bring it to me, but I know how to chop them down. Sons, bring it.
Well, then you better bring it.
Oh, it's already been brought.
Ladies, it's time for us to talk. Listen. The very definition of the word booty is a prize that men win from conquering by accomplishing some feat. Booty is a prize. Listen. What is it? What accomplishment has this man done? What has he achieved to deserve a prize? What is it that he has done with his life to be able to deserve the utmost prize of them all?
You're literally calling women a prize, an object to be won. Anita Sarkeesian, are you getting this shit? Apparently it ain't just video games that hold women as prizes. Women demand to be viewed as a prize. Tonya, what you are doing is more accurately than any other circumstance, objectifying women. You know, when I hear a traditionalist speak, I honestly start to see why feminism was once a necessary evil. And one more thing, since we are working within the object paradigm, you claim that a woman's body is the most valued prize of all, but you're forgetting not all objects of equal value. Iron, for example, is a very useful metal in high demand, but because the supply is so abundant, it has little value. Gold, which has little practical use, is an incredibly rare metal that has extreme value. If there were only a handful of women in this world, their value would be immense. But women are slightly more common than men, and their looks, personality, and abilities vary. You are assigning variable value to men based on income. Alright then, I shall for this argument assign women variable value based on their looks. Realize all the ugly chicks and plain Janes don't have the value of the incredibly rare men who are young enough to be marriage material, while being able to support himself, a wife and a child, all on his paycheck alone, and doesn't already have a wife. These men are like gold, like diamonds in the rough. The overwhelming majority of the women you're speaking to aren't the perfect tens who have the necessary prerequisites to bag men of this rare caliber.
Listen to me, ladies. What has he done? I want to tell you, ladies, that you have a biological responsibility to the survival of your offspring, and any and every time that you lay down with a man who cannot take care of said offspring, you are jeopardizing not only your future, but you're jeopardizing the potential future of your offspring, and you're jeopardizing the potential of all of you by laying down with a man who cannot take care of those offspring. Listen, ladies, now we know that men have a different way of going about doing things. You know that they think about sex very differently. For them, it may be a sport. They may be just trying to get some release. But ladies, you need to have your heads on about you. Hear me. Anytime that you lay down with a man who cannot take care of those offsprings, you are jeopardizing your future.
Tonya, I have this amazing solution to this problem. The woman could simply elect not to have kids. There's condoms, birth control pills, morning after pills, abortion pills, abortion, and finally adoption. That is a total of 6 fail-safes to avoid the horrors of motherhood that you are about to start describing to these women.
Let me explain something else to you, ladies. Men do not want you to change them. Think about it. Think about the nature of who and what you are. You're smaller physically weaker. You got these soft old hands and these soft old skin. And did you know that estrogen makes women hold on to more fat than men? So you got these little soft fatty parts, and he does not consider you on his level. He doesn't want your help. So trust and believe that you better accept him as he is, because there's no telling if he will ever get better.
Actually, I am in complete agreement with you. There is no use in trying to change someone, or stopping them from changing. People go through changes on their own time. Their lovers seldom have much to do with any of this change that does or doesn't happen. But in the same way, a broke-ass 19-year-old player may never grow out of his childish behavior. A 35-year-old man might start going through changes and become a completely different person. But yes, I agree, for the most part, both men and women need to accept a person for who they are and not attempt to change them.
Accept him as he is. And if he's at a position where you don't feel that you can accept him, honey, you need to move on. Listen to what I'm saying. By taking his penis, he could be projecting you onto a path of poverty. Do you hear me? By taking on his penis, he could be projecting you onto a path of poverty. And believe me, you do not want to go down that road. Ladies, do not get burdened by his babies. You have a full and wonderful and beautiful life ahead of you. Do not get burdened by his babies.
That's why we have condoms, birth control pills, morning after pills, abortion pills, abortion, adoption.
Babies. And you know what? Just follow me. Follow me. Let me calm down for a moment. Follow me. Let's imagine a little bit. Close your eyes now with me, okay? Now imagine. Just imagine his dirty little baby, or just imagine, it doesn't have to be, just imagine a dirty little baby with juice spilled all over its onesie sticking to his chest, and the baby's teeth are all crooked because you couldn't afford proper nutrition to get the child's teeth growing in straight, and the hair is all patched out because you didn't have enough money to be able to buy food to supplement this child's lack or nutrient deficiencies. Imagine that. Imagine imagine it's in the sweltering heat of summertime or frigid winter, and just imagine yourself tussling with a whole bunch of bags and a stroller, struggling to get on public transportation. And just imagine the sound with me, ladies, because in New York we got that doom doom, please stand clear of the closing doors, while you got baby bags and all types of things falling all around you. Just imagine that, struggling with a baby in one hand and all these things in another, in the sweltering heat. Juice stuck all over the baby. The baby got a cold and nose full of snot because you're on Medicaid, and you don't get the best of doctors because they're used to treating people like I'm not going to use a defamatory word, but they're used to treating impoverished people a certain way, so you're not getting the best medical or health care. You haven't seen a doctor in goodness knows how long, and your child's nose is running because the child has a sinus infection, and they're giving the child medication for something else because they just don't care, and your kid ain't getting the best of health.
Donya, what freaking world are you living in? Juice stuck to its face and clothes. What does that have to do with whether or not a woman has a wealthy boyfriend? You talk about all of its health problems because welfare won't pay for a good doctor. Are you kidding me? People who have corporate insurance and private insurance, and half the time those that are paying out of pocket, are going to the same doctors, and we're all getting the same crap treatment. In fact, the person who is really sick and has to pay out of pocket or private insurance is often standing in line forever behind welfare patients that are not that sick. But what the hell? The doctor visit for them is free, and half of them are just faking their illness to get benzodiazepines like Xanax, and to get pain pills to feed their addiction. Now you may have a point when it comes to dental, but that's it. And if you are encouraging women to only hook up with men who can afford a great variety of private doctors, and pay out of pocket, and get your kids all the dental it needs, these aren't men that work at McDonald's, or an auto repair shop. You're talking about doctors, lawyers, successful business entrepreneurs, CEOs, and rich kids that come from old money. Donya, do you have any idea how rare these men are? About 90% or more of women will never get a man of this caliber, and the majority of the nastiness of having a dirty kid blah 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 is equally applicable even if she bags herself one of these men. And what if the guy she bags is a moderately wealthy guy who then loses all of his money? Because in our economy, having a steady job for the past 20 years doesn't mean you won't get canned tomorrow. Donya, just out of curiosity, what year do you think this is? You describe economic conditions that hasn't existed since the 1960s, possibly 1970s. You keep forgetting about things like birth control pills and condoms. So again, what year do you think this is?
And then there's this saying out there, stand by your man. Okay, well, what has this man ever done or demonstrated that he is able to take care of a family, or able to deserve the type of respect that would keep a woman to stand by him? Did he have a high-paying, high-powered job in which he got laid off and now he's kind of struggling? Well, if he did, then why is he out there looking for nookie? He needs to be taking that energy and going out there to find a job. Why is he looking for women now and he's broken down? If he's used to being on the top and he falls, why is he, while he's stumbling, trying to bring you in on his situation? What he's trying to do, and if he was one of those people and you allow him to sleep with you, he's using your pum pum to pacify him, to keep him lazy, to keep him sedated, to squander his energy. So ladies, if you are having sex with him, no. While he's broken down, no.
Wow, that is seriously some cold shit. First, I am a little confused about the scenario you are talking about. Stand by your man is a reference to not abandoning him, but then you are speaking as if you just met this guy. Let's just take it from the first angle. If you get into a relationship with a man who has a good job, but then he loses the job later on, to abandon him until he gets another good paying job, is absolutely cold-hearted, and proof that you never loved him, but only the money and lifestyle he brought to you. You used him like an instrument of labor, never once caring about him as a human being, and this would make you pure human scum. Now it's different if you are married to a man, and he's the breadwinner and always has been the breadwinner, and then he gets fired, and month after month he is just sitting there playing Xbox, while you go from getting a part-time job to cover for him, to having a full-time job, to 18 months later you have a full-time, and a part-time, and you've already used up all the money in your joint bank account, and you're going into debt with your family, your credit cards are maxed out, and the son of a bitch is there in a dirty house, hasn't cleaned, hasn't lifted a finger, hasn't gone out looking for work in over a month, and he's just there playing Xbox. Yeah, I see cutting him loose after all that. But if he just lost his job last week, and you've already kicked him to the curb, all I can say is, what the serious fuck? And if you are talking about just meeting the guy who once had a great job, you're telling women to avoid him like a leper until he gets the job back? You claim that giving this man love and or sex will prevent him from getting a new job. How? Why? Please don't hand me this horse shit about your pussy robs him of his magical juju life force or some other make-believe crap. Depriving a man of sex does not get him a job. Look at all the hobos out there. Let me guess. The thing that keeps them homeless is the fact that they just get laid more than everyone else. No wait, they get no pussy, and in spite of all that pussy deprivation, you don't see them holding jobs, so I think your theory just got busted. What you are really doing here is just waxing poetically the rationalizations for being a gold digger. You are encouraging women to behave and function like prostitutes where money is the one and only prerequisite for a man to get sex, and no matter how loyal of a customer he is, when he can't hand over cold hard cash, he doesn't get any sexual favors. That is 100% the relationship between a hooker and one of her tricks, not the relationship of boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife.
An intercourse when neither one of us are in a position to take care of the ramifications thereof. Okay, that might be a little bit complicated. Just tell him, I don't feel comfortable having sex with a person and neither one of us can take care of a baby, or who can't help me with this baby. I don't feel comfortable putting myself in that position. Think about it, ladies. Semen is very potent, very lethal. Inside of a teaspoon of ejaculate is a million tiny little sperm just waiting and looking for your egg. How can you compete against that? You got one egg with a million sperm coming towards it, battering its way in.
Trojan, America's #1 most trusted condom brand.
Again, what time period do you think this is? Please Tonya, for the love of Dawkins, Google time and date. Check the date on your local newspaper. This is not 1850. What defense does your poor innocent helpless little egg have? Again, starting from mildest to most drastic, you have condoms, birth control pills, morning after pills, abortion pills, abortion, adoption, and I'm not sure where in the hierarchy this one belongs, but you have vasectomies and women getting their tubes tied. If he has a vasectomy, and you have your tubes tied, and he has condoms, and you're on birth control pills, and you use the morning after pill, and then the abortion pill, and all of these precautions have failed, guess what? That isn't a baby you got in your womb, it's the second coming of Christ, and you won't have to rely on a wealthy man to take care of it. The fucker can walk on water and turn water into wine. That kid will be fine, and stop calling sperm lethal. It's actually the polar opposite. Sperm doesn't kill, it actually brings life into this world. I have more to say but I am out of time, so I will flash it on the screen.
Oh, it's already been rotten.